Hey there, Tiffany Thomas with wealthytiffany.com, and in today's video I am going to talk about how much money I make on one of my rental properties. I'm going to go over all of the numbers so you can see exactly what my expenses are, what my income is, and how much I make. So before we dive in, if you're ready for financial freedom, comment freedom below in the comments. And if you are serious about becoming financially free at a young age, click the link below this video in the description and I can help you do that. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, let's dive in and talk about how much money I actually make on one of my rental properties. And I want to talk about the first rental property that I purchased. So I actually purchased my own property that I was living in very first, and then I decided to purchase a rental property, and that's a property that I never lived in. I purchased it strictly as a rental. That's what we're going to be discussing today. And this property is a condominium. So it has, it's a middle unit, so it has someone above and below my unit, and then on the side of the unit as well. So it is a condo, which means it has an HOA, a homeowners association fee. So I'm just going to go over what I purchased it for, how much my mortgage is, and all of my expenses, what the income is that I receive on it, so that you can kind of get a feel on maybe what you want to be looking for in a rental property, or maybe what you don't want to be looking for in a rental property. But I kind of just want to give you a breakdown of all of the numbers to give you some sort of idea on what these expenses are, so that you can actually, start to look for your own rental property and figure out what is going to be a good deal for you, what's going to work for you, and what doesn't work for you. And this condo that I purchased it in 2015, and I purchased it for about $120,000. So purchase price was $120,000, and I put 20% down since I was purchasing it as a rental property, strictly as an investment property. When you are moving into a place, you can actually put down a lesser amount. So you could put down even 5%, some lenders do 3%, or you could do 10 or 15%. But when you're purchasing a rental property, an investment property, then you'll need to put down 20%. So I put 20% down on the condo. So that was money that I had saved up over time and decided to invest in this condo. And right now, the income that I receive from this rental property is $1,200. So that's what I receive monthly from my tenants. And the way I priced this was I kind of just looked online to see what the market was at for rental properties. And I just kind of looked in comparable areas and looked to see how nice those properties are compared to my property. And I just remodeled it the year before last. So it's in really good condition and has a lot of updates, new flooring, new kitchen cabinets and bathroom cabinets, things like that. So it's in really good condition. So I just kind of looked online to see what the rent is, what the rates were for similar properties, and kind of just based my my number off of that. And so I priced it at $1,200. That's what it's priced at now. And I actually just got it rented again. So the lease was up for my previous tenant and just got it rented for $1,200. And then as far as expenses go, so my mortgage payment is about $550. So this is income, and this is my mortgage payments. And I'm kind of just rounding these numbers that I'm going to give you just to make it easier for the math. But it's about $550, and that includes escrow, so that includes my property taxes that I need to pay. But it doesn't include insurance. And I have an insurance policy on this condo. And since the HOA actually covers part of the insurance, My insurance is pretty low. It's $20 a month. So that is for insurance. And then I do have that HOA payment. So I pay that every month, and that is about $170. So that is the homeowners association fee. And then I also, add in kind of extra expenses if something needs to be fixed, or, I need to replace something. And since the property has just been remodeled recently, I actually really didn't have, I don't think I had any expenses last year. But we're just going to put an average of $50 a month. And when you're coming up with this expense, it really depends on the property, how new it is, if you're going to need to be replacing a furnace or an air conditioner, or if it is newer and you won't need to be replacing any of those items soon, and nothing is really going to break. So it just kind of depends on the property. So you want to make your best guess, and then as you go forward, you can just kind of become more familiar with the property and see, okay, well, I know in a few years it's going to be older, so I'm probably going to need to make replacements. And then you may want to increase this expense. So these are expenses if something needs to be fixed or replaced. And then these are the main expenses that I have for my property. And I don't have a property management company. I manage the properties myself. So if you wanted to have a property management company, you could probably estimate about 10% of the income of that $1,200. It just kind of depends on your area, of course. In Utah, I feel like 10% is pretty good. Some are actually 8%. But you can add that expense in as well if you didn't want to manage your properties. So all of the expenses are total up to $790. So as you can see, I'm making $410 off this property. And this is pretty passive for the most part, because I'm not, it's not something I have to work on every month or every day. It's when the tenant calls me or sends me a text message and says, hey, this is broken, can you come fix it? And then I call my handyman or I text him and say, hey, can you go to this property and fix this certain thing? Fix the toilet, it's running, or whatever it might be. And then I write a check to my handyman. I pay him for that. And then when the lease is up on my property, of course, I'm going to have to list the property and then meet people over at the property to show them the place and, and then sign a new lease when I find someone and then give them the keys and do a little walkthrough. So honestly, it doesn't take that much effort to have a rental. I know a lot of people are scared to invest in rental properties, but from my experience, and I bought my first place in 2005, and then I bought this place in 2015, and then I've bought 2 more since then. But in my experience, it's really been worth the investment. I really love investing in real estate. And as you can see, every month I am creating this passive income of $410. So if you start with one property and then you can get another one and another one and another one and pretty much have all this cash flow coming in that you may not have to have your full-time 9-to-5 job. You could just get something part-time if you wanted to. And then, of course, you could manage your properties or pay that extra fee and have a property management company manage your properties for you. It's entirely up to you. And that's another reason I love investing in real estate. It is up to me, and no one else is making these decisions for me. And I've decided that I want to manage my own properties. I don't mind doing it. It doesn't take that much work. So that's what I've chosen to do. But you could definitely have a property management company and be even more hands-off with it. I do have another friend who was using a property management company, and that was the route they wanted to go because it was easier and they didn't have to worry about it as much. So it really depends on you, but it's possible to create this income. And there's a lot of things that people look at when they are investing in properties. So they talk about like a cash on cash return or their net operating income, or the 1% rule. There's all of these things that are thrown around, and it's good to know these things. But honestly, things change so much over time that what I like to look at is the cash flow that I'll be receiving. And actually investing in a property that you're just breaking even with can still be a really good investment, because over time, most likely, houses are going to go up in price, and the rent that you can charge will also go up in price. When I was first, when I had my first property and I had roommates, I was charging them a lot less than I'm charging now because rent rates have gone up so much. And then also my values have increased greatly. This property that I bought for $120K just 4 years ago, is now worth about $200,000. So that's a huge jump in 4 years. And of course, that's not going to happen all the time. I get that. And of course, there was the 2008 crash, where the house values fell drastically, which would have been a great time to invest. So there's all sorts of things to take into consideration. But the way I look at it is with a long-term mindset. That's my strategy. I'm a long-term investor. I plan on investing in these properties and holding them for the long term. So they will increase over time. They'll appreciate in value, and I'll be able to charge more in rent. And once I have all of my mortgages paid off, then I'll be making even more passive income. So I would take out almost all of this $550. There's of course the taxes that I'll still continue to pay, which are probably $100 or so a month. But you can add that $450 to this $410 and then have that much more cash flow coming in once your properties are paid off. And since I have renters in there, they're making the payment for me. So I'm not making that mortgage payment, having to worry about that. I'm having someone else pay that mortgage payment, plus getting extra income. So I really see it as a win-win, and I really love investing in rental properties. And I get that it's not for everyone, but I've just seen such great success with it, and I really don't mind doing it. So I think it's a great way to increase your passive income, increase your cash flow, and increase your net worth, because over time, if you plan on being a long-term investor like I am, you'll see your value increase. It'll appreciate over time. And this one, that's jumped so much over time. That's crazy to me. So, it's about 60% over 4 years. So that's a great return on your money. The stock market returns about 8% on average per year. In 4 years, if you can make 60% return on your money for not that much work, plus you're getting this cash flow every month, I see it as a win-win. And I just want to say, if you are worried about maybe a property that you've already purchased, you can sit down and take a look at the numbers and really evaluate, is this property going to appreciate over time? Most likely it will, even if it's maybe not in the best neighborhood, or it's a little run down or something. There's other ways you could remodel your place. That's what I did with mine. Like I mentioned, I remodeled it and I was able to charge more in rent. So I increased the rent that I was charging after the remodel, so that it will, that extra rent that I'm charging will kind of pay for the remodel over time. So that's just kind of an option for you. And, there are some HOAs that are pretty high. So don't forget to take that into consideration when you're looking at a condo or a townhome or a home even that has an HOA. And on the flip side of that, the HOA fee will increase over time, but like I mentioned, rent prices will also increase over time. So, as the HOA price goes up, you're probably going to be able to increase your rent that you'll be collecting, and your property is appreciating over time. So, just kind of think of it more in the long term rather than right now. You want to, build up your wealth, even if that means that it's not super high right now, but it will be over time. You're able to increase that over time because your assets will appreciate, they'll increase in value. You'll be able to increase your cash flow, take in more money from your investments over the long term. So, and if you do run the numbers and find that it's not good and you want to get out of it, that's totally fine. Like, that is totally a learning experience. And now you know what to look for, and you can evaluate properties better. And, unfortunately it might be an expensive mistake, if you will, but that's how we learn, that's how we grow, and we all have to start somewhere. And then, once we start, then we can see, oh, I could have done this better, I needed to look at this, evaluate this number, take this into consideration. And we continue to learn and grow and become better over time. We become better investors over time as we do it more and more and become more familiar with it. And, we can learn from others and continue to increase our knowledge and, really improve ourselves so we can improve our situation. So I don't want you to feel disheartened if you feel like you've made a mistake in the past. I've made mistakes for sure. I could have done things so much better, but I at least got started and I learned from my mistakes. I've learned from the past so I can improve and become better over time and teach you guys things that I have learned so that you're not making the same mistakes that I am, and you can do it better than me and, just become better and better. So hopefully that helps a little bit if you're feeling a little discouraged on previous decisions that you've made or previous investments that you've made. Just look at it more as a learning experience, even if it is an expensive learning experience, because that just means you've learned that, and you can continue to move forward and improve and become better. So if you guys have other questions about investing in real estate or more questions about this property, please comment below. I would love to answer your questions. And then if you have ideas on what other content you would like me to create, please comment and put that below in the comments. And I would love to create content for you. And this was actually, a question that came up. So super happy to do this video. And you guys just keep in mind, like, people worry so much about, oh, what if the market crashes? Or what if I can't find renters? There's all these different things. But here's the thing, if you are just leaving your money in savings and it's not working for you, you're actually losing money because inflation is about 3% per year. And you're maybe getting 2% now if you have your money in an online savings account, but that means you're still losing 1% of your money every year. So you really need to be investing it. I love real estate investing, but I also love investing in the stock market. I've seen great returns on my stocks. There's just different options. So really consider what you want to invest in. It's up to you. It's your money. You should be making it work for you, and you don't have to worry about so much what other people are telling you to do. Like, I'm not telling you to invest in real estate. I'm just showing you this is what I've been able to do. This is what I've seen. And I really like it. It's something that I like to do. So I want to share this information. And if it's helpful to you, then awesome. Or if you're thinking, I can't handle that, then pick another investment, but do something to make your money work for you. So that you don't have to continue to work. You can choose to work, and you can have that freedom. You can have that time freedom to spend with your family or travel or volunteer somewhere, whatever you want to do. But if you're not making your money work for you, that's not going to happen. So yeah, hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and if you're really serious about becoming financially free at a young age, click the link below this video in the description and I can help you do that. And don't forget to like and share this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. All right, thanks.